This is the Clear Money Talk podcast, offering up creative solutions for your retirement future through education, choice, transparency, and empathy. Now, your host, CEO and founder of Clear Financial Partners, Tim Claremont.
Hello, and welcome to Clear Money Talk. I'm your host, Tim Claremont, and I'm here with your co-host, Tyler Andrews.
Thank you for your introduction, Tim. It's good to be here. Listeners, thank you guys for tuning in. Our loyal fans, thank you for listening to Tim and I once again. And for people tuning in for their first time, welcome. We hope that we'll give you some good sound bites and information to take away from the podcast today. So
yeah,
we're excited to be here.
We always have a good time doing this. So today, Tyler and I were just spitballing back and forth to say, hey, what kind of money-related question are we going to answer today? And we were looking for something a little different, something that's not the same as all the other shows that we share about, those hard facts and rules and must-dos and must-not-dos. But something a little bit in general. It says, hey, if you wanted to be a financial advisor today, if you want to be a financial planner, how do you even become one? And Tyler sort of brought that question up, and frankly, we didn't give any more time to it than to say, let's just jump on and start talking about it. So let's just do it. So how would I answer that question? I guess that's the question. I think to understand how would you become a financial planner today, or how do I become a financial planner today, is not necessarily the same as how I became a financial planner when I started in 1997. Oh. Nor is it necessarily the same as how Tyler became a financial planner.
That's true.
When he joined the industry. So the answer for our origin stories is not necessarily the answer for how you should do this now in this day and age going forward. But I think we could start with our origin stories and at least give some insights into that, and then maybe talk about the differences, the ways that things are a little bit different. So
I like that. Yeah, this will be a fun one.
Yeah.
I'm excited to talk about this.
It'll be a good time. So, so 1997. Let's start with my origin story, and then we'll pivot to Tyler's origin story.
I like how you're talking origin story. It's like that we're a hero going through a conquest.
Well, don't you feel like you're a superhero sometimes? That's right.
I do.
This is how it goes.
A money-related superhero.
That's right. Yeah. So you go, well, for the right clients, that's the way they feel. So we actually do get a lot of positive accolades. But fundamentally, I was always focused on money, and if you've always thought about money and math, and you've already kind of been naturally good at thinking about money and math, you might think that you want to become a financial planner. When I was 13 years old, I got my first paycheck, and I was, went home and I opened it up, and I saw that FICA and FUTA and FedInc and StatInc had all taken a big chunk of my money. And I went to my dad and said, hey, Dad, who are these people, and why'd they take my paycheck? And my dad taught me about taxes, and he's like, oh, that's taxes. And he would do his own taxes every year with J.K. Laser's tax guide. And he's like, Tim, you can do your own taxes. And so at 13 years old, I was doing my own 1040 EZ, reporting my taxes for my wages, because it was a pretty simple form. And around that same time, I'd also read John Grisham's book, The Firm, which was an excellent book talking about tax law. And then I saw the movie shortly afterwards with Tom Cruise and really enjoyed the movie. And I was so frustrated at all this money coming out of taxes and so motivated to try to minimize the impact on my paycheck that I thought, I want to become a tax lawyer. And if I actually really enjoyed writing books. And I thought if I could write books, that'd be great, but I didn't want to be a broke author. So I thought I'll be a tax lawyer, make a bunch of money, retire early, and write books, and then not worry about whether they ever get published. That was my plan. So I chose Whitman College, went off to Walla Walla, Washington, because they had the highest average LSATs in the Pacific Northwest of all the schools that were out here, the law school aptitude test. And in my senior year, 1997, when I was graduating, my economics professor, I majored in economics, minored in English and philosophy, thinking I was going to be a tax lawyer. My economics professor said, hey, Tim, why don't you go practice your interviewing skills? See if you can get this job. There's this company on campus interviewing these students, and they had little 30-minute interviewing blocks. And I remember I got the last block of the day, 4:30 to 5. This guy had driven down from Seattle to Walla Walla. He had been interviewing people all day long, and he told me how I could teach business owners to write off $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a year legally by contributing to their 401k plans. And I thought, that's cool, because I wanted to be a tax lawyer. And so I thought, well, my LSAT scores are good for 3 years. I'd gotten a really good LSAT score. I graduated from college in 3 years, so I looked at this as my 4th paid year of college. I figured I'll start as a financial advisor in Bellevue, Washington, take this career and then do that for a year, have more on my resume, then go to law school and become a tax lawyer. And after a year of doing financial planning, I realized I was born for this and been doing it for 27 years now, since 1997. But when I got started, that firm that hired me hired everybody with a pulse. And I didn't know that. I just thought, if these guys can do it, I can do it. And it was very grueling. At the very beginning, I was, to the first 2 weeks, I was learning the basics, getting licenses. You had to get a Series 6 license at the time, and life and health licenses, to be able to work with mutual funds and variable annuities and those kinds of investment choices. We would take those licenses. Actually, over spring break, my senior year of college, I studied and crammed and took my Series 6 license, and got my Series 6 license in March. Nice. Technically, before I was 21, I turned 21 in April. So I was 20 years old. I got my Series 6 license in March, and then graduated from college. And by the end of May, beginning of June, I was learning about mutual funds and variable annuities for a couple of weeks, and I simultaneously got my life and health licenses so I could work with those products. But it was a straight commission job. There was no salary. There was no wages. I think they gave me minimum wage for 20 hours a week for 2 weeks, just while I learned my product knowledge. So, if you can think of minimum wage for 40 hours, and that's it. That's all I had to start on. And then it was out, just setting as many appointments as I could with anybody that would listen to me, as I taught them the things that I had learned about financial planning and tried to help them accomplish what they wanted to accomplish. And that's how I got into the industry. But, most people in that kind of an environment, just calling complete strangers and asking them for an hour of their time, where you're driving out to their house to sit down with them and go through a presentation with them, hoping that they would choose to work with you as their financial advisor. That environment was totally different in 1997 than it is today. And so many things have changed since then. So I'll be excited to elaborate on, how things have changed over the years as we hear Tyler's origin story. But after the first year, I realized I was born for this, and I decided not to go to law school. I love doing this. Kept my clients that I worked really hard. I was working. Every hour I was awake, with the exception of 1 hour a night. I would come home from 10 to 11 p.m. and watch Star Trek Next Generation and eat some dinner, and then pass out at 11, get up at 6 or 7 the next morning, and go back at it again until the next day at 10 o'clock. And I just did that pretty much every day, including weekends, for like a year, and survived because I enjoyed it and it was fun. And but it was very risky in terms of that kind of a situation. And I'm so grateful today for the clients that chose to work with me in that first year. Many of them are still clients today, and I've been serving them now for 27 years, and I've seen their kids grow up, and seen their grandkids be born, and seen them transition into retirement and have these amazing lives, where we do kind of feel like superheroes, really, when they look at you and they're like, Tim, I never knew I would have this much success or financial comfort or anything like that. And it is a really neat feeling that I certainly had no idea I was going to experience when I was 21 years old, just getting started in this industry. So that's a little bit on my origin story, and there's definitely a lot of things that have changed between now and then. So I'll be excited to talk to you about that. Tyler, your turn.
Okay, thank you for sharing all that, Tim. I could see you being nostalgic in your eyes as you talk through all that, and going back and thinking about all those cool memories. So I'll be a little bit brief, just because I know that we want to go into some other stuff. But
it's
my origin,
how little time has gone by. So feel
good,
free,
because we're having fun.
Yeah, it is. It's a good time.
My origin story started when I was young, because I was always saving my pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters, and dollar bills when I was young, and I was doing anything I could when I was young to save money, whether it's mowing lawns. My first real job was probably at 11 years old. I was reffing or umpiring for baseball in my hometown of Napa, California, and really anything I could do to scrape up money, I was saving money, and I was just hoarding it. And the hoarding of money was satisfaction to me. It felt like I was doing something, and I also had learned early on that with money came opportunities. You could do stuff. You could go to the movies with your friends. You could buy stuff that you wanted, and it always drove me to scrutinize, analyze, and nerd out on how much money I had coming in, the different sources of it, and all that stuff. And then I also started to learn early on there was a lack of clarity and education surrounding money-related stuff. I didn't grow up around a lot of whether it was school or family or friends or people I knew that had very savvy financial knowledge, just doing the very basic stuff. And I knew there was more out there to be learned. And I learned more and more about that as I got older and older, and went to college at the University of Oregon, started to learn more about money on my own time. And as I got closer to graduation senior year, I really had to say, Tyler, what are you going to do with your life after you graduate? Because you can't have grinded all 4 years of college, worked your butt off, and then not have a job when you graduate. So what are we going to do? So I started to interview people in professions that I had interest in. And one of them was wealth management or financial planning that Tim and I now do. And I started talking to a few people, and the more they shared about their career path and what they were doing, the more it made my eyes kind of widen about, this is what you get to do on a day-to-day job. Like, you get to show up every day and just help people and nerd out about money and make people's financial situations better with your guidance that you're sharing to them in a counsel capacity. And I thought that was remarkable. You're getting to help people. You're getting to put your education, your expertise, and things that you find interesting on your own accord to use. And I knew that's what I wanted to do. And it aligned with my education and my natural skills, and also my desire to help people out. And I had the fortunate opportunity when I graduated to interview with Tim and Clear Financial Partners, and we just had an instant connection as far as our goals and our mindsets aligning, and the rest is history. So been here ever since graduation 2016, and looking forward to the next, it's been 8 years now, looking forward to the next 8, 24, 32 years to come.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's so cool, Tyler. And so 2016 versus 1997.
Yes, a lot's different.
20-year gap between those things.
You're showing your age, too.
I know. It's okay. I'm okay with it. It is what it is. I'll try to age well. So it's,
you are, man. You're doing a good job.
I'm doing what I can. Yeah. Doing what I can. I got to say thanks to my parents for the genes, right?
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
At the end of the day.
That's right.
But yeah, I mean, 1997 versus 2016. And so many things happened between 1997 and 2016 that I think made it so that Tyler's experience was very different. Like, when I went to college, frankly, I interviewed for the financial planning, and it was, I'd only seen things like stockbrokers on TV. Back then, I don't even know if The Wolf of Wall Street was out yet, but there was certainly, the classic. What's a classic movie that had Gordon Gekko? Boiler Room was out, and Gordon Gekko was in. Was that just called Wall Street? I think.
I think it was just called Wall Street.
Yeah, Wall Street, right? Mm-hmm. With Charlie Sheen, I think it was in that. Anyway, these depictions of what a stockbroker were so negative in terms of the movies that I'd been exposed to. I didn't even know that financial planner was a thing. I mean, I was just like stockbrokers. That was it. Like people, and I didn't want to do that. I had no interest in pitching stocks or selling stocks or doing the boiler room thing or anything like that. So I feel so fortunate that in 1997 I fell into an opportunity to really do planning with people, and that the organization that I started with, even though it was straight commission and it was grueling and I was a duck to water, but they taught me an educational process so that I could teach the people I sat down with, which so leaned into the way that I approach everything. And I actually started working with teachers. And so I'm also grateful that in 1997, when I started in the Seattle area, the teachers in the state of Washington were dealing with a decision between their TRS-2 and TRS-3 plans. They had to make a permanent decision between if they were going to stay with, it's kind of like in Oregon PERS 2 to PERS 3 sort of thing, but TRS-2 to TRS-3, they had to make this permanent decision which one they were going to go with. And there was nobody really there to help them. And so I learned everything I could learn about that as a recent college grad and kind of a money nerd. And then I would teach them those choices and simultaneously teach them about compound interest and investing in mutual funds. And that education-based approach is sort of what led to my passion. But one of the things I realized too, 97 to 99, that first 2 years, is I liked to teach. I liked to plan with people. And not everybody that was at the firm did that. I mean, it was definitely reoriented around a sales process where they wanted to sell products. And I was focusing on an education process where people would instead choose to invest in different things to accomplish their goals. And that was not as common in 1997. I got my Series 65, which allowed me to be a registered financial advisor because I felt like it was more aligned with what I was trying to accomplish from a planning standpoint, and then ultimately leaned into planning with my clients. And I realized that I wanted to levelize my compensation to eliminate any conflicts of interest. So I would choose based on the products that I was working with to get paid similarly, whether they would choose annuities or managed money portfolios. I would make 1% per year in general. So the more money they made, the more money I made. It eliminated any kind of conflict of interest, so I didn't care what investments they might choose. And I was able to build what has become a lifetime residual income from just serving my clients. And it changed the entire scope of how I built what I built. Now, between 97 and 2016, so many things happened. Annuities went through a massive evolution. Living benefits were born. The financial crisis happened. 9/11 happened. The tech bubble burst in March of 2000. Then you have the 2008 financial crisis, and we start to recover 9 to 10 to 11. The market's kind of coming back up. Everything's exciting. And now there's a lot more awareness of what it is to be a financial advisor as the industry's moved towards advising and less towards selling. That whole concept of the boiler room pitching products has really died out in a major way. And I would say now it's much more fiduciary focused and trying to figure out how do we do what's right for the client at all times, and how do we teach them and educate them and let them choose. And fortunately for me, I was already wired that way in 97, but I was an early adopter to that. Now that's more the industry norm. So if you're to answer the question, how do you become a financial planner today? As I kind of think about how do I answer that, the licenses required, you still have to pass certain licenses to sell certain products, and you have to be able to sell those products in order to get paid. And so in order for you to have revenue, and you have to have revenue in order to have a job. So now you can get hired by a financial planning company, and I think that's probably a good way to start. You can get your feet wet and find the company that aligns with your feelings and your values and what you're trying to accomplish in life, and then you can go ahead and move forward from there as you cut your teeth in the industry. But I think the most important thing is to find the company that aligns with you in terms of values and is an opportunity for you to grow in those first few years. The logistics of what you'll do in those careers is really depends on the company that you choose to align yourself with, and then where you decide to go within that company. But I think that's probably how I would answer that for now.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that kind of hit on what I was said during my origin story that I explained a few minutes ago, is that your guys' at Clear Financial Partners goals aligned with my goals, and that's why it was such a good fit for us long term. If the goals that you have don't align with the firm that you're potentially seeking out to work for or work with, it's not going to be a good fit long term. And whether you're looking for an education-based approach that the firm's taking or something else in between, there's every firm has their own culture and way of doing things. I think that's the best first place to go for that. You want to find a good home. You want to find a good mentor, good people to teach you, because you could read every book till the cows come home, but implementing that knowledge and watching other people who've been doing it for so long do it and learning from them is invaluable in this industry. And we know people that are walking thesauruses. They know everything under the moon, but application of that knowledge is a whole different beast. And
that's right. Just because you have all the right answers, the internet may have a lot of the right answers. It may have wrong answers too. Yes. But the point is, having all the right answers is just one little tiny piece to the puzzle. And so you might love learning and love trying to get all those right answers. But fundamentally, if you're going to be a successful financial advisor, you have to be able to communicate successfully with people.
Yep.
And those people, will typically come from a wide variety of backgrounds, ages, demographics, genders, job occupations, like all of that stuff. And the more variety you experience in terms of communicating with different people, and your success at being able to communicate your ideas to a wide variety of people is, as I would say, probably the key ability when it comes to being successful as a financial planner. And then fundamentally, if you're going to build a client base of people that are turning to you and they want you to be their financial advisor, the key to success, I think, comes back to the metrics that I was taught in 1997. I still teach those metrics to other financial advisors that are in my Clear Advisor program around the country, around the world for that matter. And those metrics are, I always recommend set 10 to 12 appointments a week. You'll keep 6 to 8 appointments. You'll write 3 to 4 pieces of business, and you need to ask for referrals with all those people so that you can set 10 to 12 appointments the next week. And usually you should expect to get between 10 and 20 referrals. When you're starting, that's really the metrics. Those are the KPIs for financial planning success, in my opinion, the key performance indicators. And if you're not prepared to set 10 to 12 appointments a week with different people where you're honest, you're not lying and making up fake appointments, that's what you need to be able to do. And if you can do that successfully, in my opinion, today, I think that you could probably build a financial planning practice if you had the right partners that would help you do that. Mm-hmm. And if you can't build those kinds of appointments and that kind of schedule today, you need to be in a firm where the firm has that kind of attraction where they can create those appointments for you and work together with you. And you need to expect that if you work with a firm like that and they're doing a bunch of the work, you're not going to make as much money. Their firm has to get paid. The firm owns the clients. The firm's creating that revenue stream. And so your compensation is to assist them in that process as you work together. And eventually you can make as much money or even more as maybe you become a partner in the firm. And there's all kinds of other opportunities there. But the future of income generation and financial planning in this industry is unclear at this time. And with AI evolving the way that it is, I think there are a lot of opportunities that might exist for people to get advice directly from an AI or from a computer at some point in the future.
Yeah.
But they won't replace people. There's just nothing like emotionally connecting with a one-on-one person and being able to have that conversation, understand what matters to them, what their fears are about money, what excites them about the opportunities that they have in their future, and how do they make sure they take care of the people they love in the most efficient way possible. That is ultimately something I think AI is very, very, very far away from being able to do. I think we have at least the next 50 years of success with financial advisors at a human level, and we'll just have to utilize AI to make our jobs easier. But connecting with people, communicating with people, that's the key skill set, I think, to be a good financial advisor. And then you better be smart enough to know all the right answers too.
That too. That's a big component to it.
Yeah.
I think that's good.
Yeah,
I think we've hit on all the big things.
I think it's good today too. Let's go with the just the answer.
Okay.
So
let's do that.
The just the answer. So if you want it,
how do I become a financial planner?
How do I become a financial planner? So for those of you who are listening to Just the Answer, you should listen to the long story if you want to hear Tyler's and my origin stories. We talk about how we became financial planners. But the quick answer is, I would say, be an excellent communicator. Find a firm that aligns with you for your values, respects you and respects what you're trying to accomplish, and make sure you have the right heart for this profession. If you have the right heart for this profession and you want to help people achieve their financial dreams and be smart with their money, and you're good at communicating with them and your heart's in the right place, then I would say, take whatever you know now, find a firm that believes in you and a firm you believe in, and work with them to become a financial planner. I think that's the best way to go. It's just not realistic to hang your own shingle right out of college in this day and age without help. And I think that that's going to put you in a situation where start interviewing. The right people with the right heart will get found, and there's definitely a need for more good financial planners in this world.
Yeah, well said. Well said. It's all about the people around us. Yeah.
Cool. All
Ready for some trivia?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Let's bring it home.
Let's do it.
Bringing it home for today. All right, what do you got for me today?
Okay. What is the highest grossing animated film of all time?
Ooh, the highest grossing animated film of all time.
That's right. I think we've done another one of these, but not animated. So
animated. That's tough. Well, I guess the ones that would come to me, I would think I have.
Yeah,
one
throw
in
some
my
out
mind.
there. What you got?
So, before I throw out what I think is possibly the right answer or one of the right answers, if it's considered animated, then
I see where you're going with this.
Then I can't help but articulate the fact that I just got to watch Inside Out recently, Inside Out 2. And I enjoyed. I love that concept of kind of how people work. It's funny, as we were talking earlier today on the full version of our show today, we were talking about the origin stories, and you said I got all nostalgic. I remember this moment in the show where nostalgia comes out inside of her head, and you're like, oh no, you can't, you can't come out. She's too young. You have to wait another couple decades. Nostalgia was driving my.
You're too young to have nostalgia.
My brain a little earlier to in this show. So I'm not too young to have nostalgia. As far as the highest grossing show, though, I would feel like Avatar, and I don't know if Avatar, the second one, I mean, is computer graphics considered animated? I guess that's where the issue is.
I'll give you some help. No, that they do not count that as
Avatar,
animated.
They're not counting as animated?
No, they got real people in there.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
all right. So they're going to call that as real people. I guess. Okay, so fully animated show. Oh, what would be the most recent high-grossing fully animated show? I mean, I movie, right? Yeah. Well, yeah, I keep thinking like, there's like Little Mermaid and Aladdin and Beauty and the Beast and all these classics, the classic Disney ones, and there's a lot of good Pixar ones, WALL-E and oh man, so many Up, Inside Out.
We're gonna put a time limit on here in a second.
I got nothing. I feel like the biggest one, like Lion King. Okay, I don't know. I guess I have no idea.
That's a great guess. Not the right answer.
I didn't
great
expect
guess.
It. Yeah, all right.
Frozen 2.
Oh, Frozen, of course. Frozen. Yeah, there you go.
Not even number 1, but 2.
Frozen.
That's rare.
2.
That the second movie.
Well, it's probably there's more and more people as we keep expanding the population.
There's
more people to watch it.
It grossed 1.45 billion worldwide. For an animated movie.
All right, I guess
got to give it to them.
Every now and then I get a trivia question wrong, and I guess I'm just going to have to let it go.
That's okay. But you might have got it wrong, but you gained a piece of knowledge.
That's right.
To take with you.
That's right. Well, if you discovered today that financial planner is not your ideal profession, don't hesitate to reach out to a good financial planner and make sure you're working with one, because having somebody to help you is a good idea.
Yep.
And if you want to be a financial planner, I wish you well, and feel free to reach out to us, 503-579-1000. We're certainly not hiring a ton of financial planners or anything like that, but we're always open to meeting good people that are interested.
Yeah.
And if you feel like Portland, Oregon is where your home is or where you're interested in being, and you want to connect with people and you feel like we're similarly aligned, don't hesitate to reach out. Let us know.
Yeah, give us a call.
Yeah. 503-579-1000 is the phone number, right?
Yep. www.clearfp.com.
There you go.
What else?
There you go. Wow, that's it.
Yeah. Look us up on the internet.
So, yeah, and let it go.
Yeah.
Nice.
Right. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks for your time on Clear Money Talk today.
Investment advisory services are offered through Clear FP Advisors, LLC, or Registered Investment Advisor. Securities are offered through Clear FP Securities, LLC, member of FINRA IPC. Exposure to ideas and financial vehicles discussed should not be considered investment advice or a recommendation to buy or sell any financial vehicle. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Investments may fluctuate and when redeemed may be worth more or less than when originally invested. Financial professionals are not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if Timothy Claremont is licensed in your state, please contact his office. Clear FP Advisors, Clear FP Securities, and Clear FP Life LLC are not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide tax and/or legal advice. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through Clear FP, LLC NPN number 194283777 and or Clear FP Securities NPN number 197499604. Any discussion of general investing strategies or specific securities are for conversational purposes only and should not be taken as a guaranteed endorsement or recommendation.